Once, long ago, in a land far away, there lived four little characters who ran through a maze, looking for trees to nourish them and make them happy. Two were mice named Sniff and Scurry, and two were little people, beings who were as small as mice, but who looked and act a lot like people today. Their names were Ham and How and Hoa. Due to their small size, it would be easy not to notice what the four of them were doing. But if you look closely enough, you could discover the most amazing things. Every day, and the mice little people spent time in the maze looking for their own special cheese. The mice, Sniff and Scurry, possessing only a simple root brain but good instincts, searched for the hard-nibbling cheese they liked, as mice often do. The two little people, Ham and Hoa, used their brains, filled with many beliefs, to search for the very different kind of cheese, with a capital C, which they believed would make them feel happy and successful. As different as the mice and little people were, they shared something in common. Every morning, they each from their jogging suit and running shoes, left their little homes and raced out into the maze, looking for their favorite cheese. The maze was a labyrinth of corridors and chambers, some containing delicious cheese, but there were also dark corners and blind alleys leading nowhere. It was an easy place for anyone to get lost. However, for those who found their ways, the maze held a secret that let them enjoy a better life. The mice, Sniff and Scurry, used the simple but ineffective trial-and-error method of find cheese. They ran down a corridor, and if it proved empty, they turned and ran down another. Sniff would smell out the general direction of the cheese using his great nose, and Scurry would raise her head. Sniff quickly in new areas. Sniff would smell out the general direction of cheese using his great nose, and Scurry would raise her head. They got lost, as you might expect, went off in the wrong direction and often bumped into the walls. However, the two little people, Ham and Haw, used a different method that rely on their ability to think and learn from their past experiences. Although they would sometimes get confused by their belief and emotions. Eventually, in their own way, they all discovered what they were looking for. They each found their own kind of cheese one day at the end of one of the corridors in Cheese Station C. Every morning after that, the mice and the little people dressed in their running gear and headed over to Station C. It wasn't long before they each established their own routine. Sniff and Scurry continued to wake early every day and raced through the main, always following the same route. When they arrived at the destination, the mice took off their running shoes, tied them together, and hung them around their necks so they could get them quickly whenever they needed them again. Then they enjoyed the cheese. In the beginning, Ham and Hoa also raced to Cheese Station C every morning to enjoy the tasty new morsel that awaited them. But after a while, a different routine set in for the little people. Ham and Hoa awoke each day a little later, dressed a little slower, and walked to Cheese Station C. After all, they knew where the cheese was now and how to get there. They had no idea where the cheese came from or who put it there. They just assumed it'd be there. As soon as Ham and Hoa arrived at Cheese Station C each morning, they settled and made themselves at home. They hung up their jogging suits, provide their running shoes, and put on their slippers. They were becoming very comfortable now that they had found the cheese. "This is great," Ham said. That's enough cheese here to last us forever." The little people felt happy and successful and thought they were new secure. It wasn't long before Ham and Haw regarded the cheese found their Cheese Station C as their cheese. It was such a large store of cheese that they eventually moved their home to be closer to it and built a social life around it. To make themselves feel more at home, Ham and Hoa decorated the wall with saying and even drew pictures of cheese around them, which made them smile. One read, "Having cheese makes you happy." Sometimes Ham and Hoa would take their friends by to see their pile of cheese at Cheese Station C and pointed with pride, saying, "Pretty nice cheese, huh?" Sometimes they shared with their friends, and sometimes they didn't. "We deserve this cheese," Ham said. We certainly had to work long and hard enough to find it." He picked up a nice fresh piece and ate it. Afterward, Ham fell asleep, as he often did. Every night the little people would waddle home full of cheese, and every morning they would confidently return for more. This went on quite some time. After a while, Ham's and Haw's confidence grew into the arrogance since they became so comfortable they didn't even notice that was happening. As time went on, Snip and Scurry continued their routine. They arrived early each morning and sniffed and scratched and scurried around Cheese Station C, inspecting the area to see if there had been any change from the day before. Then they would sit down to nibble on the cheese. One morning, they arrived at Cheese Station C and discovered there was no cheese. They weren't surprised, since Sniff and Scurry noticed the supply of cheese had enough getting smaller every day. They were prepared for another and knew instinctively what to do. They looked at each other, removed the running shoes they had tied together and hung conveniently around their necks, put them on their feet, and laced them up. The mice did not overanalyze things, and they were not burned with many complex beliefs. To the mice, the problem and the answer were both simple. The situation at Cheese Station C had changed, so Sniff and Scurry decided to change. They both looked out in the maze. Then Sniff lifted his nose, and nodded to Scurry, who took off running through the maze. While Sniff followed as fast he could, they were quickly off in search of new cheese. Later that same day, Ham and Hoa arrived at Cheese Station C. They had not been paying attention to the small changes that had been taking place each day, so they took it for granted their cheese would be there. They were unprepared for what they found. "What? No cheese?" Ham yelled. He continued yelling, "No cheese? No cheese?" As though if you shouted louder, someone would put it back. "Who moved my cheese?" he hollered. Finally, he placed his hands on his hips. His face turned red, and he screamed at the top of his voice, "It's not fair!